What's up, doll collectors, hobbyists, fabsome besties? I'm Toya, an adult doll collector. Welcome to my miniverse. Yep, my Disney backdrop is still up because it's so pretty. And it's distracting me from the mess that is my studio. But no, seriously, my work table is filled with minis from previous videos. We need to come up with some way to store them. My vote is to make another shadow box. I'm using another 11 by 14 inch frame. I bought a pack. There's a lot. Let's remove the back, cut a piece of foam board the same size as the back, cut 2-inch strips, glue them around the edge to make a box. We want to use this for a little storage and as a doll display. So we need to make sure we leave a little space for a doll. I have a scrap piece of foam board. I sketch a window and carefully cut it out. I cut out the panes first, then the rest of the window. I trace around it in the box so we can plan out our space. And you know what? Let's do something with this cutout from the window. I made another box so we can take the cutout and place it at an angle, creating a small doorway. I drew a line to section off this space. Now that we have our two boxes, I use scraps of foam board to make a small platform. Then I take another piece and glue it on top. Take the leftover cutouts from the window along with a few other scraps and glue them on to make a dresser. And I use drops of hot glue to make knobs. This is pretty thin because we're working in a small space, and I'm just going to glue it onto the side. I add baseboards around the bottom of the walls, and across the top, I glue on yarn to add a little more detail to the furniture and the window. Let's glue and wrap some yarn around a wooden dowel, then glue it onto the sides of the dresser. I cut another piece of foam board and let's glue it on as a shelf. Then I added a few smaller shelves underneath. For the box that will have the little doorway, I cut craft foam and glue it around the opening. Use more to add more details, but I'm not going to glue it into the box just yet. I cut a few 3/4 inch rectangles, glue them onto the side. Going up the box, I made a few more yarn wrapped wooden dowels and I glue them onto the front to make a shelving unit. Now let's paint. I'm just gonna paint everything a pretty dark color. This paint was an aqua green that I mixed with a little bit of black. I painted the shelving unit black and the doorway. Now I'm going back to the area that's going to be inside of the hallway. And I'm just gonna add a little lighter green, aqua green paint and just blend it so we have a little bit of a shadow in the front and it's brighter near the back, hopefully giving kind of a glow. I brush the floor with a little brown highlight, keeping all the colors kind of dark and muted. While that's drying, let's begin to paint the other box black, carefully painting over the yarn, allowing us to see if we did a good job of gluing it down. And of course, you can always choose to paint items before placing them in the box. I paint around the window and the rest of the box black. Now we're just gonna let that base coat dry. Let's go back to our doorway. I take a strand of LED lights. I place one on the black side of the box. Then I take the others. I'm gonna glue them going around the inside of the lighter section in areas where it won't be visible. I gave myself a lot of space with the battery pack and the on-off switch so that I will be able to take it out if I need to replace the batteries. Now let's glue in our doorway, touch up the paint, and I'm gonna add a little bit of that green outside of our little doorway as well. And we're just gonna kind of fade that in. I cut a piece of a large glue stick, then use a hot glue gun to make a hole in the top, then melt it going down the side, make a hole in the back at an upward angle, creating a hole that we can see through. Let's take the end of the LED light and we're going to put it in the back of the glue stick so it comes out the top. Secure it in place with the little glue. Take a scrap of foam board and paint it black. Glue it under the hot glue. So when the light is on, it looks like a candle on a shelf. I'm going to use a little poster putty to attach the battery pack inside the doorway. And our room should have a little light glow. Take the room with the window and let's paint a blue sky. Kind of dark blue. I don't want it to look like it's a light source, so we're just gonna add a little bit of a black to it and just kind of blend them together. Let's add a little brown to the floor, add white dots to the blue sky, and let's use a little black paint to add some bushes around the bottom so we kind of see their shadow, and blend a little green into the walls, just like we did before. And now we are really starting to see some of the details in this space. And I'm going to take a little gold paint and lightly brush some of those details. And let's add a little gold to the furniture as well, creating some highlights and bringing out some of the detail. Let's glue the window frame in place. Let's add those gold details to our doorway room as well. It just gives it a little shimmer. Let's make more of those candles. And we're just gonna say that the dolls are using flameless tea candles, and that's why they can put them on the shelves. You know, so this is not a fire hazard. I add gloss Mod Podge to the window, hoping that when it dries, it will give the feel of glass. We've made a whole string of candles, but we need to hide the battery pack. I used a silicone mold to make a small picture frame using hot glue. Let's paint them black. I glue the hot glue candles into the box, leaving the battery pack free. Dust the frame with a little gold paint. I cut a picture out of scrapbook paper and glue the frame on top. I glue the picture to the battery pack, then place it onto the counter, wedging it just a little behind the candles. So we have access to the on and off switch, and we can still change the batteries. Then just glue on a frame. Then once the Mod Podge dries, we have a new shadow box room where we can display our dolls and minis. The doll can stand right by the window once the glue is dry. And if you don't have or want to use a frame, I think these could work as quick backdrops that you can easily store on a shelf. We can make more than one and place them side by side or overlap a little to create different rooms. Then we can take a few of the minis that have been collecting on our desk, like these fun finds we bought at Michael's, and glue them into the space, adding to the room's decor. Oh yeah, and I put up my fall backdrop. And we have to add our skeleton cat from Target. And how about a little Re-ment? This is the Witch's House set. It's a complete box and I bought it on Amazon for $59. I'm hoping some of these minis will fit our scene. I cut through the seal to reveal the minis. This one does come with a backdrop, but we're using our shadow boxes. There are 8 smaller boxes inside, and in the first one, we have a little fireplace or brick oven, which is really cute, but way too small for this space. There's a little fire to go inside. There's a black cauldron and some liquid to go inside. It can fit on top over the fire. There's a curly staff with a blue gem on it, a jar with green stuff inside, and a sticker to place on the outside of the jar. There's a small booklet, and inside we have some things we can cut out. Totally using these. We can place them on the bookcase in the back. Let's open our second one. I wonder if they are going in order. Let's see. This one is Secret Preparation. It's a cute little desk. It has a hint of green, 2 little drawers in the front that can open, and this part here can be pulled out. Yeah, Ooh, this looks like a little silver claw thing. We can assemble a small bottle, but it won't stay closed. No. Wait, I think I got it. I'm gonna put it down before it pops open again. There, it works. There's another little stand for a small flask with pink stuff inside. We have a small beaker with purple stuff. Here's a small flame to go underneath and a small dropper or a stirring rod. And I just saw that there are little mushrooms growing inside of one of the drawers. Honestly, this is adorable. And of course, there are a few paper accessories. Opening our third box, looks like we're getting a book and a few test tubes. We have 3 test tubes on a stand, minis to go inside, and corks. Seriously? There's a small bottle, looks like some herbs tied together, an open book, a little metal bowl that looks like a frog. There's a small wheel that goes on top, and a leaf that we can place inside the bowl so we can grind it up. I'm loving these little plant posters. We're not even halfway through, and it looks like our bookshelf might run out of space. Opening box number 4, which is a whole table? Yep, I would love to use it as a side table. It stands a little over 2 inches tall. We get a few paper accessories, more paper accessories, a little crystal, a gold stand, and a clear marble. Looks like a little crystal ball. And a candle on a candlestick. This totally looks 1/6 scale, by the way. Opening box number 5. Is that a chair? It's a rocking chair. This box is called A Letter from Nowhere. We even get a little invitation and some stationery. We're invited to a tea party. I'm gonna grab the table from the other box. Fits perfectly. We can place our little invitation on the table. I cut out the stationery. There's a small plastic sealed envelope, a cup of tea, a teeny tiny flower to go in the tea. There's a teapot and an owl on a stand. The owl is removable and its head can turn. Honestly though, this furniture is getting really cute. We need a doll to go with it. Barbie Extra Mini Mini? I know a lot of people use Nindoroids, but this was $6 and it totally works. Box number 6 gives us a little paper gardening journal, a shelving unit that can fit on top of the desk. There's a mask, small scissors, a jar of mushrooms. The top can come off. This looks like dirt, and we have a mandrake root. There's even a small pot to put it in. There's a small hook, a cover for the scissors. I just realized they can open. And there's a label for the mushrooms. Box number 7 is called Nighttime Work. We get a little sewing journal and a paper sewing set. There's a spinning wheel, a basket with cotton or some kind of stuffing, a small blue container, and a little black cat plushie, which is totally going on the shelf because I love its little grumpy face. This is our last box, and it has to be the one with the hat titled Go for a Flight. Looks like we get a card and some pictures to cut out. We also get a small broom, the hat, a little scroll, and it looks like we can actually open it. Let's see. We can, and it's a map. The map of Wizard's Land. Re-ment is not playing when it comes to the details. There's a necklace with a red stone, a gold lantern with a crystal, and a small chest that can open. I put all the minis I could on the shelves, and I turned our lights back on. Let's just add a little more art to the walls, and our shadow boxes are done. Add a doll. This is a great color palette for Cleo, by the way. And the little doorway helps the doll to stay in place. Thank you for joining us while we made some new shadow boxes that light up. and took a look at the Re-ment Witch's House set. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to ring the bell and follow us on Instagram at MyFroggyStuff, the Frog Vlog, and Bella of MyFroggyStuff. And we will see you next time.